The crystalline spires of Station Nexus 7 stretched toward the artificial sky, a monument to galactic engineering prowess. Inside the main hangar, Commander Lisa stood with her arms crossed, staring at the massive cargo vessel that had become the station's most expensive decoration. The stellar horizon had been grounded for 3 standard months, and her patience had worn thinner than atmosphere at the edge of space. 28 engineers, she muttered, reviewing the data pad in her hands. 28 of the finest mechanical minds in for systems, and not one of them could figure out what's wrong with this heap. Her second in command, Lieutenant Rax, a 7-foot Krellian with azure skin and 3 eyes, shuffled nervously beside her. "Commander, perhaps we should consider scrapping the vessel. The repair costs alone have exceeded." "Absolutely not," Lisa snapped. "This ship represents a significant investment. We're not writing it off because our so-called experts can't do their jobs." The stellar horizon sat silent and dark, its fusion cores cold despite countless attempts to revive them. Every diagnostic came back clean. Every system check showed green. Yet the moment anyone tried to engage the primary drives, the entire ship would lock down, triggering fail-safes that nobody could override. It was as if the vessel itself had decided to take an extended vacation. That's when Vin Diesel walked into the hangar. He wasn't supposed to be there. Technically, he was just a maintenance worker, assigned to janitorial duties on the lower decks. But his daughter worked in Commander Lisa's administrative office, and she'd mentioned her father had some experience with ships. What she hadn't mentioned was that her father had spent 30 years working on everything, from mining rigs to deep space haulers before retiring to the station. Vin Diesel was a broad-shouldered man in his late 50s, with graying hair and hands that told stories of decades spent elbow-deep in engine grease. He wore standard station coveralls and carried a battered toolbox that looked older than some of the junior officers on deck. "Commander Lisa?" he called out, his voice gravelly but respectful. Lisa turned, eyebrows raised. "Can I help you? This is a restricted area." "Yes, ma'am, I know. I'm Vin Diesel, Clara's father. She mentioned you were having trouble with that cargo ship." He gestured toward the stellar horizon with his chin. "Mind if I take a look?" Lieutenant Rax's 3 eyes widened in disbelief. "Commander, surely you're not going to allow 28 engineers, Lieutenant." Lisa interrupted, her voice sharp. 28 failures. At this point, I'm willing to let a janitor take a crack at it." She fixed Vin Diesel with a challenging stare. "You really think you can do what they couldn't?" Vin Diesel shrugged, a small smile playing at the corners of his mouth. "Probably not, but I've got nothing to lose by trying. And you've got a very expensive paperweight sitting in your hangar." Lisa studied him for a long moment, then made her decision. "Fine, you've got 2 hours. But if you break anything, it's coming out of your salary for the next decade." "Fair enough," Vin Diesel said, already walking toward the ship's access ramp. He disappeared inside the vessel while Lisa and Lieutenant Rax watched from the hangar floor. Minutes ticked by, 15, 30, 45. Occasionally, they'd hear the clang of metal on metal or see the brief flicker of a diagnostic light. Through the viewport, "This is absurd," Rax muttered. "He's probably making things worse," but Lisa said nothing. Something in the man's casual confidence had intrigued her. She'd seen too many overqualified engineers approach the ship with complex theories and sophisticated equipment, only to retreat in defeat. This human dad with his ancient toolbox seemed refreshingly unburdened by the weight of expertise. At the 90-minute mark, the hangar suddenly filled with sound. The deep, thrumming hum of fusion cores coming online. Every head in the facility turned toward the stellar horizon as running lights blazed to life. Across its hull, the main display screens showed all systems reading green and stable. Vin Diesel emerged from the ship, wiping his hands on a rag. His coveralls were streaked with oil, and there was a satisfied look on his weathered face. "She's all set, Commander," he announced. "Should run smooth now." Lisa stared at him, then at the ship, then back at him. "What? How did you?" "Simple problem, really," Vin Diesel said, setting down his toolbox. "All those engineers, they kept looking at the big systems, the fusion cores, the drive matrices, the power distribution networks. Everything checked out because those systems were fine. The issue was in the emergency override circuit. Specifically, a feedback loop in the safety interlock. 28 engineers checked that circuit. Rax protested. I'm sure they did. But they were looking for damage or malfunction. The circuit wasn't broken, it was modified. Someone had rewired the relay to create a phantom error signal. Probably a disgruntled crew member during the last voyage. I just traced the modification and removed it. Took me about 20 minutes to find it, and another hour to verify everything else. Was truly operational. Lisa felt a mix of relief and embarrassment wash over her. Why didn't anyone else catch that? Because they were too smart, Vin Diesel said with a chuckle. Sometimes being an expert means you look past the simple answers. You assume everything has to be complicated, because you've been trained to handle complicated problems. But sometimes, Commander, a ship is just a ship, and sometimes the solution is simpler than you think. He picked up his toolbox and nodded respectfully. I should get back to my shift. Those floors won't clean themselves. Wait, Lisa called out. How much do I owe you for the repair? Vin Diesel paused at the hangar entrance. Nothing, ma'am. I'm just a janitor who helped out. But if you want to do something for me, make sure my daughter gets home on time tonight. She works too hard. As he walked away, Lieutenant Rax turned to Lisa. Should we offer him a position in engineering? Lisa smiled, watching the human dad disappear around the corner. No, something tells me he's exactly where he wants to be. But remind me to send a case of whatever Earth beverage he prefers to his quarters. And Lieutenant? Yes, Commander. Never underestimated Dad with a toolbox. The Stellar Horizon launched the next day. Right on schedule, carrying cargo to the outer colonies. And in the maintenance logs of Station Nexus 7, a single line was added. Primary repair completed by V Diesel, Maintenance Division. Duration, 90 minutes. Cost, one honest conversation and a father's pride.